things. Uh, I'm just gonna kind of point out everything I see. It'll probably be a little nitpicky, but that's just kind of how I see stuff. So, um, it's just a stream of consciousness. I'm just gonna give you everything. Just you can do whatever you want with it. Oh, whoops! Ow! Oh, that dug into my arm. Yep, and that leads me to the other second um, uh, disclaimer is that it may or may not be intermittently interrupted by cat stuff. Just like now, where my cat rolled off my lap and freaked out and dug his claws into my arm, which hurt awful. And I'm bleeding. Okay, but it's not bad. So, yeah, I am okay. Just not exactly happy at the moment because that hurt. Yes, okay. First off, lighting is very dramatic. Uh, Definitely has a lot of potential. Jury's kind of out for me personally on this one, but again, I don't hate it. I don't love it yet. I dig the way this hole's laid out. I think you have this big, wild, squiggly fairway bunker thing going here, and then you get up to the green. It's just kind of two round circles. It feels a little inconsistent. Also, your bunkers just kind of cross over into your splines. Like, I would either route your fairway around it or just get rid of that bunker. Oh, yeah. No, he didn't bit me. He just, like, basically, like, relaxed and shifted and then just slipped right off my lap and freaked out and just dug his claws into my arm as he was falling. So let's see. I got some stuff to catch up on. Yep, I think I'm caught up. Um, but yeah, I think if we're gonna make a light rough cut, I mean, you don't want your bunkers cutting into it like that. Um, like you can get away with a little bit of texture crossing like that, but you have to do it right, and it just kind of feels haphazard on this one. I don't I don't think it's an asset to this course. Well, that works. All right, we got some 187 greens. This will be interesting. I'm digging the water. That's definitely nice. Yeah, that just the whole bunker thing's not doing it for me. Like I feel like you've got to route your fairways around the bunker versus routing straight fairways and then just dropping bunker texture into them. It just kind of comes off a little haphazard. Um, this bunker needs some sculpting, I think. Like yeah, this this spot just kind of looks funny. I don't think it needs to be that big, or get that close to the green texture in spots. Just generally, just it feels a little awkward. Yeah, I agree with you. Also, this green feels very big, especially for essential. I mean, I guess it's one tier, but it's very turtleback. Still, I don't think you need. Um, I don't think this green needs to be anywhere near this size. Why not both? Well, I just read that putt poorly. They're only flat compared to yours. Yeah, so this bunker is awesome. Um, in terms of like sculpting and size and how it's framed. Like, this is a great bunker, but just it randomly cutting into the fairway is just a no-go. It's just kind of awkward, and it feels again, it it makes it feel like, okay, well, I designed this hole with the fairway. Like, I made this nice blind. Here's my hole, and then I'm just gonna throw a bunker on top of it. Like, you basically want to put your bunkers down first and route your fairway around it. Because then like in this case, you can tell that it's just, here's a big square fairway and here's the bunker into it. Like, it creates all these angles that nobody would be mowing in real life. It kind of takes you out of it. Yeah, I don't think this needs the massive googly eyes bunkers here, and it doesn't quite fit the. There's not really a consistent theme here. And then this green's also pretty big. It's certainly playable. There's a lot of enough contours to keep it interesting to play, but visually it just looks like this big blob of green. Yeah, like, who's gonna cut all that squiggly fairway stuff? Like, there's not a maintenance crew on Earth that's gonna want to do that. And it cuts into the green too. That's yeah. It's not the end of the world, but it definitely is undercutting a lot of the great work that you've done on this course, I think. At least just in terms of presentation. This is a really nicely framed hole, though. This is a nice, pretty backdrop. I like it. I think the bunkers, like the front part of that bunker, could be sculpted a little bit. Like, you could drop that down, and there are ways to tweak this one where you could frame it even better, look even more dramatic. Well, this is a wild hole. Let's see how playable this is. Not sure about the slope of this fairway. I guess it holds golf balls, so it works. It just looks a little funny. think that's going to be my refrain for most of this course, is that the greens are really big and the bunkering and texturing is just wonky. But the playability is good. Ooh, yeah, that's some weird sculpting there. That's not really helping you. As far as overall framing goes, it looks nice, but that bunker's a miss for me. The whole idea is solid, though. That's a terrible shot. Let's see. Again, this might be a relatively quiet playthrough because it's really it's the same issues on every hole, so I don't have a ton to say. It's just kind of yep, it's the same thing. The sculpting for this bunker isn't really helping either. That's just kind of that's a little weird looking. How do I zoom in? There we go. Like it just kind of goes straight vertical. The grass kind of overlaps the bunker texture, that sort of thing. Just needs to be sculpted. Other ones on this hole are good sculpting wise. Yeah, same thing. Like the theming for some of the bunkers seems to be just random. Like you have a lot of just big circle ones, and then all of the fancy squiggly ones just thrown all together. Thanks, Dion. I appreciate it. I'm glad. Hopefully, you guys get some, you know, some enjoyment out of it. It. Hopefully, you find the feedback helpful. Oh, kitty. There you go. My cat keeps threatening to fall off my lap again. Oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, these are some really good rookie courses. Trying to double check. Did you design this one or the last one? You designed this one. Nice. This fairway is massive, I think. I don't think it needs to be this big. Especially, there's like 180 yards or 200 yards behind where you're putting the ball. You have this massive, huge, wide fairway, and then this kind of pinched area where you're hitting driver. Yeah, the surfacing, or like the apron here, could use a little love. Like there's that really hard angle where it meets down there. Oh, nice. But yeah, so far, I would say you have a really great eye for framing. Um, the surfacing on this one needs a little help. Um, yeah, this is a really big green. No, he doesn't mean bishop. He can move. He can move any number of spaces. Forwards, backwards, left to right, but he can't move diagonally. Oh yeah, if all your other ones are auto-gen, I'm gonna be honest, that doesn't really count as designing a course. Not in terms of like, yeah, this is your first real course. In which case, this is definitely a solid effort. I think this might be a hole where your course lighting gets away from you a little bit, because you can hardly see anything off the tee because the lighting is so bright and there's so much haze. So with lighting like this low, I think the key is like avoiding holes that go directly into it. Like if you ran it off at this angle here, you'd be perfectly fine. Or if you ran it off at this angle here, you'd also be perfectly fine. But just dead into the sun means that you really can't see anything. Yeah, somehow that sounds like a euphemism. No worries. All right. I like the idea here with the rocks and the lake and stuff. I think you could probably mix up the rock type that you're using, just because it's all the exact same rock all the way down. This looks overly uniform. Uh, yeah, same kind of thing with the bunkers just cutting into the fairway. I would move that. Like in this case, I think you could swoop the fairway out. Like here, I can just kind of draw it with the mouse, but like you could probably swoop this inwards a little, and then back out, and then just fit that bunker in there, and that would kind of both suit this hole visually and from a strategic standpoint. Because I think this fairway is too wide for that bunker to matter at all. Oh, actually, there's a ton of slope, so. This, yeah, this is another really big green. I think for like just big circles, those are probably really big bunkers. Oh, you're gonna fall off my lap again, aren't you? There we go. Ah. Also, this pin. Well, that's a legal pin. It's just a little dicey. Oh, is this the snakehead green? I have no idea. Doesn't look like anything to me. What pin am I playing? I honestly don't remember. One, I think? For Golden Age type courses, if executed well, would you deduct from bunkers that had fairway roll into just the fronts? No, like if I can tell that that's what you set out to do, and you pull, if it was done well, I wouldn't deduct points for that. I think it's very, very hard to pull off, I, but if you found a way that it made sense, like in this case, like this bunker looks good. This one works. And it doesn't like just randomly cut into the fairway. But this one, it just kind of cuts at it sideways. In terms of, in terms of if you wanted to make this, like the fairway rolled dead into the bunker, you'd probably have to curl it around like that, so that the bunker texture fits flush or something like that. Your fairway line has to run tangent to your bunkers. Yeah. And there's also the problem of I think you have to use splines on your bunkers in order to get rid of that light rough lip that runs around it otherwise. Which is, I mean, to me, a pain in the butt, but that's just me. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I've never found that it to really affect how the bunkers play. Like, if you have a light rough collar, the ball's gonna roll into those bunkers the same way 90% of the time. And even when you're in there, bunkers are so rarely a hazard that it was never worth the effort to me. Oh, you didn't even do this on PC? My goodness, props to you. Well, this is a cool little idea for a hole. I think it definitely needs like there's so much rock work going on here that the rest of it just kind of feels empty. I think this needs to be framed with trees a little bit more. Like bring some closer and around this hole. Um, these bunkers need to be like you could sink those down a little. Like they're just very, very flat. They don't feel like they're sculpted quite quite there. That is true, Dylan. Your bunkers are most definitely hazards. This is a cool hole, though. I think with a little bit of tweaking the presentation, like this would really, really pop. My God, my putting's terrible. Yeah, no worries. Okay. This one. That bunker is just massive. I don't think all of that's necessary. Really, really all of the textures on this are just huge. Alright. As far as I can tell, I mean I can just barely reach this one. Let's see. Where's the overhead? Okay, I suppose the hole's slightly shorter if I go this way, but I don't really think it's necessary. I don't think there's ever any reason that I would just go play to the left. Because I can just catch if I catch the hill, like this is still very, oh, I guess it's not quite reachable, but okay, never mind. But still, it feels a little, it doesn't work as well for me as a split fairway hole. And this hole definitely needs a little bit of texturing work. Like there's all sorts of sharp edges with the fairways and stuff, like this guy here. You want your aprons to flow into your green surfaces. Like this should kind of flow in around here and smoothly into there versus like cutting over and then just cutting straight back. Oh, let's see. Oh, hit the stick. Yeah, no worries. Again, you're new to this. As a rookie, of course you're going to make rookie mistakes. That's what rookies do. Again, in some areas you've done your texturing very well, and others like with bunker sculpting, there's a couple that are really really good, and you should be very proud of, and then a couple that are just a miss. But like I dig the bunker shapes on this hole, and the sculpting looks pretty solid. Could be smoothed out a little in some spots. Um, and they're framed nicely off the tee. It's just the fairways running into them that I just don't think really makes any sense. That you have a very very wide. So the thing about the bunkers on this hole is that they don't, as far as I can tell, they don't really matter. I'm never gonna hit those bunkers, and like yeah, this bunker guards this corner I could cut, but it doesn't make my second shot significantly easier. And the green's big enough that the angle doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to take the automatic drive to this like big massive fairway every day. Because it's still a wedge shot. The angle doesn't matter that much, and there's nothing in front of this shot. It's an interesting idea, but I think the strategy doesn't quite pan out. But it looks good off the tee. I like this hole. It is really attractive looking off the tee. I think you could bring some trees in from the left, kind of thicken those up, and that would really frame this hole nicely. I do like how these are to me are much better sculpted bunkers than some of the other circle ones that you've had. I mean, this is personal preference. Some people really don't mind the bunkers just thrown in the fairway with that little tiny bit of light rough texture. I've always felt that it just always made sense to have a little bit thicker of a light rough band. That kind of matches the light rough band around the edge of the course. It takes a little more effort to do that, but I just think it gives a little bit more of a more uniform look. I don't know what club I need to hit here. It is downhill. Maybe this will work out for me. It almost worked out, but That's gone. Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah. It'd be hard to do that with the lighting. Um, you can put some short though. Um, like, dang it, I'm not gonna be able to zoom back there with the camera. But you can still put trees like here, like all through here, and that would help frame it off the tee. You could like leave this little gap open and maybe sprinkle one or two in here. And the thing is, like when the sun's this low, you can get away with putting trees right on the green to a certain extent, because the shadows they cast are just going to be the trunk, or it's like you don't want to put tons of trees behind that. It's the trees that you put way over to the right there that would cast shadows on the green. So if you're clever about it, you can definitely do that. It's tricky, and sometimes you have to dance around stuff, but it's definitely doable. Oh, I need to move my cursor. Sorry, I'm sure that drives people nuts. I just keep forgetting that's on the screen. And again, and that's just nitpicky stuff. Because some of the holes are framed very nicely. It's just that with with some what's a little bit of expertise and um, some ingenuity, you can really dress those holes up nicely. That's okay. You can't type, but I can't talk, so it works out. Yeah, this green's way bigger than I think it needs to be. It's very very big. Yeah, patience always helps. 'Cause especially when you're like trying to dress up a hole like that and trying to make it so the lighting works, you're usually like carefully placing individual trees, trying to make sure that you're adding to the whole visually, but but not screwing up your lighting. We're all kind of nuts, so you know it's a lot of time in cases, but I think it's worth it. All right. Yeah, the bunker cutting right into the green like that's a miss for me. But, you know, again, it's not the end of the world. Um, I feel like you could probably put a bunker here, just in terms of, you know, even though it's not really in play, it makes you think a little bit. Actually, it could be in play, and it definitely helps frame this hole. What is that notch in this fairway? Like, that one off the right? Right. Ow, 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 ow. Stop, stop. Okay, we're good. Oh, whoops. I should have paid more attention. Sorry. I just missed your comment as I hit. It's a very long shot for a par 4. It's solid. I mean, yeah, it's a long par 4, but I don't think it's unreasonable. Hey, there we go. There's a birdie. Oh, we're on the last hole. All right. Yeah, If I'm being honest, I think your sculpting got away from you a little bit on this hole. This one's a little wonky. Props for the original idea. I like your thinking outside the box. I guess I play for the funnel. There you go. There's a 430-yard drive. That's not the worst clubhouse. I have seen far worse. I don't know that you need to put it on the other side of your driving range, though. That's not a well. It is flying a little bit, so you do have that going for you. It is a magic levitating clubhouse, but but yeah, I mean, like in terms of like of clubhouses, like this is a solid looking clubhouse. I actually kind of like that you took the fairway brush and ran it over the clubhouse, so it looks like it's got this freshly mowed lawn. Even though realistically, especially with the like all the dormant grass around it, it doesn't quite make sense. Because all the grass around the clubhouse would definitely be dormant. You wouldn't be overseeding it like you would a playing surface. But anyway, I would probably just move that driving range somewhere. Because it's like we're on 18 and the clubhouse is a half mile away. Yeah, you're right. That's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it shouldn't even be possible for the clubhouse to levitate like that. So props. You've managed to break the game somehow, where you get to just, uh, you know, um, get your clubhouse to sit somewhere off the terrain. I'm sure that's not what you were going for, but exactly. That being said, for a quote unquote worst clubhouse ever, I think that's a very respectable clubhouse. The surrounding area, like you could probably jazz up a little bit. I would just like to throw some bushes around it. You throw a couple trees in places that make sense. Just stuff to fill in the space around it, so it feels a part of the environment that it's in. But that's a solid clubhouse. I think you know, it would make sense to put it on the back of this green versus all the way over there. Tell me you've seen that clubhouse. I might have. I don't remember it off the top of my head. This is this one's. I think this is perfectly flat. Um, yeah, nothing wrong with it. It's just generally you don't want to have like absolutely perfectly flat putts. Demand you refresh your memory. Okay, I can do that. But yeah, I can. Maybe I'll goof around on stream for a bit more after this. But all right, that is that though. Um, the last rookie stream. But anyway, man, thank you for creating the course. I definitely appreciate it. Um, especially for again, all of the rookies have done a really solid job throughout. I think we have a really great batch of courses this go around. Yep. Thank you guys. Thanks for hanging with me here through all these streams and keeping me company. Yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of good things going on here, and with just a little bit of like experience under your belt and just getting a grasp of some of those technical things, like I think you could do some really really awesome stuff. There's all sorts of good things going on here. But yeah, all right. Like this, I guess we're done here as in terms of rookie playthroughs. It's been a good ride. But yeah, thanks everybody. I will cut the stream here, and I'll pop on here on a random stream here in just a sec, and we can goof around for a bit. But yeah, thanks again, and have a good one.